Okay, this is the second lesson, if you want to call it. Speech. A little bit about myself. I'm currently in Bangkok, Thailand. Here's 2021. So, today's topic will be drugs and suicide is definitely the most important one, or the easily explained. The second one, I believe, is more important. It is the nature of us as human beings. No one else has got it right. Our knowledge of ourselves is severely lacking. We don't understand other people's motivations. Probably attribute our own motivations to other people way too often. So yeah, I think this is by far the more important one, but it's also impossible to understand. And it's such a, what's that word? Pretentious? Obnoxious pretentious? That me, out of 7 billion people, I'm the guy that knows it better than everybody else. That's an incredible statement to make, and I'm forced to make it. So anyways, I'm not comfortable with it. I don't think I'm better than anybody because I have been able to observe things that other people have not yet been able to do. So yeah, this is the reason kind of why I'm doing all this. It's too important not to share. So yeah, okay, human beings and the nature of us. This is not an easy topic to get, and no one will just agree with me. But I know I'm right, so I gotta put it out there. Excuse me. Yeah, rather than think of us as people all doing one thing, it's a spectrum, good and bad. And human beings are pretty much, on average, right in the middle. Let's see. What does it mean to be evil? What does it mean to be good? Basically, being evil is to do harm unto others. But it really just means for self. Again, I've worked with this for 20 years, maybe longer, to come up with all this stuff. So I don't know how to explain it, that's all. I know what it is. I just don't know how to explain it into this format. Yeah, we're way less good than what people think. We're way more racist than other people do, than is conventionally known. And it exhibits itself in many forms. But there's so much value to be gained in being able to put people into this. And there's people at the one extreme, Mr. Rogers, people you know who are just the kindest, gentlest people, and then usually serial killers at the other end of the spectrum. Though circumstances obviously dictate what somebody's going to be, meaning the heart could be just as black in some rich businessman who hasn't had to resort to killing people. He can get what he wants and be a sociopath, a psychopath, or whatever you call it. And then no one will ever be the wiser because he's not dumb enough to do stupid stuff. So, yeah. And then these people who exhibit these selfish tendencies, and by selfish are a whole nother thing. I personally kind of almost got abducted by Clifford Olson. I'm Canadian, and he was a serial killer who was around when I was about 5 years old, something like that. And I remember an abduction attempt that could really only be by him. It fit the MO, it fit the thing, fit the timeline. I don't know if that's what started it, probably not, but yeah, serial killers, what they will do is, the abduction attempt was, hey kid, want a paper route with me, my older brother and younger sister. And we had zero awareness that we were gonna get kidnapped. We were just, it was 2 guys in a scummy car driving up the road, hey, you want a paper route? And we just, kids don't really know things. We just came and asked our parents, oh, hey, can we get a paper route over at dinner? and then they heard the story of how it was two guys in the car, and their eyes kind of got big. Yeah, but we made it out okay. So, what was I gonna say? Yeah, okay, serial killers will... People always think it's some mystery as to why people kill. Like, why do they do what they do? It's no mystery whatsoever. They value human life so small that their sexual gratification warrants taking it. Also, as disgusting as it is, you can see on these guys, they'll kill, and these guys get off on the violence. Like, they literally get sexually turned on by inflicting pain upon another human being and torturing them. Sexually turns them on. That's at the extreme end of the spectrum. And they don't say that in court, but I mean, it's amassed. You can sift through the answers to all these guys, what they're, because what they're actually doing. Like, I think it was like the MBK killer or whatever. Why did you torture the women? It was about control, he said. No, it was his highest expression. It's what he loves to do best. Okay, make women feel bad, up to and including raping and killing them and getting off while doing it. That's us human beings. Okay. Now, for every serial killer that does it, there's 10, 100 that have the similar mind and just don't have the means or opportunity or are a different life station. Okay? So for one, that's way more common. Okay? And this is the beauty part of it. You can fit people into profiles as to who would take advantage of somebody given the opportunity. Okay? And yeah, this ties into everything. It ties into what you would look for in an employee. Confidence is actually not a good indicator. Once you know this, what I know, I guess, I can choose my friends and just fetter out bad people out of your life. For relationships, you can pretty much see what the person that you're going to be with, how will be treating you, based on just a whole bunch of things. You can compile it in a little dossier once you get to know them. And yeah, I've never been wrong. I would love to be proved wrong. All you people out there in YouTube land or whoever, prove me wrong. I'd love it. Love to be wrong. I could go on thinking about something else. Yeah, so, I mean, in relationships, it doesn't matter really what you do. If this person's thermometer is set on the shitty part of my language, on the bad side, selfish side, you will be looked at as bad by them, no matter what you do, no matter how well you treat them. It's a no-win proposition. So again, this is probably the most important decision somebody makes in their life, is who to spend their life with. So this is why my stuff has value, all right? And on the converse part of it, if you're with someone who is a kind, wonderful, warm human being, you can just be yourself, and they will appreciate you and value you just for being you. So it's very clear that this is an important knowledge to have. Let's get into my bona fides as to what are my qualifications to be able to speak to everybody as if I know more than them. The answer is zero. I have no qualifications. High school graduate, some college, but I really wasn't into school and took far too much time off and failed. I went back when I was more mature and got straight A's in a field related to the oil industry, which I'm no longer in. Let's see. I don't know how much I want to leave onto the page here. I'm a self-made multi-millionaire from using my brain. Yeah, pretty much just my brain, I guess. I don't want to get into it. Yeah, I don't work. But I was able to legally and ethically, amass that, which is pretty good to do that. So, I don't know. Anyways, moving on. Yeah, so, what was I talking about? mean, there's so much ground to cover. I could talk for hours and hours and hours and hours about this stuff. My whole thing is just how to convince people of it. That's it. So yeah, I mean, I just see it all the time. You can tell, basically the will to dominate others is what it is. And you either see it in people or don't. If you see that in other people, then you can see putting yourself above others. That's it. That's the spectrum. Given the opportunity, you will abuse it, which is another reason why power, wherever there's a power imbalance, there will be abuse. It's happened since the dawn of time, and it's such a predictive thing. You can look at any system right now, and if there's a power imbalance, the abuse will be there. In direct amount of power is the amount of abuse. So that's the question. If human beings are left unchecked and able to do things without consequences, and they always abuse that power, up to including people getting killed, are we really good? No, we're not. Yeah, some of us better than others, and some of us absolutely, positively should never be in a position of power because it will be abused. And we all have our different sins that we will do. Some people's thing is they hate minorities. So if they're in position to overpower minorities, they're going to abuse that. And another thing is we always justify it. Always. There's a reason. And it's textbook. You can call people hypocrites and vilify the people you're committing the abuse against. So you're really doing something for the greater good. So yeah, we have no ability to self-govern. That's why laws have existed since the dawn of time. So, and another person's sin might be sexual consent. You put that person in charge of minorities and they'll be fine. You put that person in charge of a prison where they can have sex with women and rape them and not get caught. That's their sin. And not everybody does it. But if you get enough people, 100 or 10, there's going to be minorities that just rise up to the occasion in that respect and will abuse it. And that's why in every literal situation where there's a power imbalance, there's abuse of said power. So let's see, I just wanted to talk about human nature on this one. Yeah, and just, it's so good when you can see it, because I get to avoid trash people in my life. And if you realize this, then you can avoid bad people as well. One of the things is, I guess, that you can tell is racism. The belief that you're better than somebody else. And I'll do the counters to the argument, okay? Like, I don't want to get into race. This is getting politics. I don't want to be political at all. It's hard to avoid, though. I'll try to do another example. How to talk about human nature without being political. I don't know if it's possible, but I don't want to alienate half of the world already. Yeah. How to talk about... All right, how to see... Yeah, tips. Yeah, if someone's racist, they're a bad person. It's as simple as that. I guess I'm going to get into it. End of story. Now, you could argue that these people, they're fine to their friends and family, okay? That's up for debate. I would say no. I would definitely say no, that if you are on this end of the spectrum, you will be racist, and you're not going to treat your significant others like you're there. You're going to treat them badly, and the only reason you're with the people you care about, quote unquote, is what they can do for you. Okay, so these are the type of people who the woman, when she cheats on her husband because she says she never really loved him and just wants to get with some random guy, that's who does it, okay? And you can tell, I can tell who these people are after getting to know them, what they will be like. I've never been wrong. I don't know how to consider them being egotistical, but it's just a valuable system. And then it's the guy whose wife becomes unattractive and he divorces her because her only value to him was her physical beauty, which is no longer there. Therefore, she can easily be turned aside. And you can see these some people, the warning signs, because when people break up, okay, and it seems like what it is, but you're like, oh, you left you're now with a younger wife. Oh, okay. No, the person says. It was reason A, B, C, D. Not that reason. And it could be. But that is a little red flag. A little that you just can file with this person now. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah. And when you get enough red flags on somebody, you can put them in a zone. You won't be wrong. And there's green flags too. Is that if you see a guy who's became famous and stayed with his wife, even though her physical attractiveness went away, he loves her. And as you, I guess, quote unquote, should. That's a pretty green flag. And that's immediately, you can build up enough of those to put somebody into it. Another one, and there's smaller little things that you can see. Like, I was on an airport, and there was a professional soccer team that was going through it, soccer or football, and the guy searching the soccer player's bag as it goes through the conveyor belt told the player, oh, you dropped your iPhone. And so the player's go, oh, thank you. He didn't drop it. He didn't drop it at all. It was out of the soccer player's vision, but still in the pocket of his bag, but open. So the airport security guy had to pull out the phone, okay? And then go, oh, you dropped it. I witnessed this, okay? That is an attempt to be elevated, all right? And it's ethically wrong. He lied, okay? But it's that force. Even if we don't like people, we still want them to admire us, which is bizarre, but that's who we are. So it's little things like that as well. Not just big things. So what would happen? That guy's value is skewed. He literally lied to cajole favor. And again, since it's a small thing, and maybe it was his favorite player and everything like that, but it's a warning. So, and there are thousands of things that we do that I can tell you about that puts them on this. So basically, that's human beings. We are this spectrum. Some people are very good, some people are very bad. When you're on the bad part of it, you've got your sins that you will commit if given the chance. If you're on the good end of it, you're just gonna have less sins. And there's a whole, and that side, but there's a whole thing that of these people on this side of what, I don't know, I'm on this side. Like, I'm not racist in any way. I've just never had that. I don't discriminate against groups. I judge people on the content of their character. I don't have that will to dominate. So what sets us off is individual bad actions. That gets our blood boiling. Like, I watch, the TV and these people who are so entitled, and it's fascinating to me. And I love their comeuppance. Now, I would imagine on the other end, you love it, these people, when a race gets their comeuppance, or you're against a certain group of people. Interestingly enough, you're not fully wrong. Because if said group of people was in power, they'd treat you just as badly. So it's not black and white. And that's a very good thought to think about. No matter who's in charge, they're gonna crap on the lower people. So is it really that wrong for somebody to label a group of people as being bad? It is, because they're not. But at the same time, because human beings were nowhere as good as we thought, if that people were in charge, they'd be doing the awful things that the other people in charge are doing with right now. I don't know. That's 20 minutes. I could talk all day. But yeah, that's 20 minutes. So I recorded this in March 2021. Yeah. That's it.